What's up, y'all? Okay. I'm gonna tell you. There's a few things that I do want to touch on for this review, and I'm gonna be honest here. This was a good Raw, beyond good. I was surprised and blown away by some of the segments that they had here. Don't get me wrong. There were some that was completely pointless, like Titus O'Neil being involved in anything. I'm sorry, you're not a thing. You never will be, and stop trying. The same exact thing with Mark Henry. Mark Henry's on his way out, so I can't really give him a lot of flack. I can honestly understand, why he wants to do what he does. But on the real, I'm sick and tired of Titus O'Neil trying to make something. You know, I would love to see something legit come out of Titus O'Neil, but nothing has happened since that incident with Vince, and it's not gonna happen. So you can just stop now. Seriously, you can just stop now. You should have took Batista's advice, and I'm not trying to be mean here, but he keeps trying to make himself a thing. Is gonna keep making himself a bigger joke day in, day out. The same thing with Awesome Truth or the Golden Truth, whatever. The same thing with the Golden Truth. They're trying to make themselves a thing. They won't be. It doesn't even matter what Goldust. I wouldn't be surprised if Goldust has a few years on him. But I don't know what to say about R-Truth. I don't. And North Carolina is his hometown. And the dude lost in his hometown, getting the crap beat out of him by Braun Strowman. If you lose in your home state of North Carolina, what else is there for you? Like, seriously, in this business, you might as well go somewhere else. And it's a shame. I don't want to go the minority route. There's been far too much racism being posted as it is, and I'm not going to go there. But I will say it's a shame that R-Truth has been there as long as he has, and the only way he was over is by being a heel or teaming up with The Miz. The Golden Truth has done nothing for this guy, and he needs to break away and find another route to go. The same thing with Titus O'Neil. They've been there long enough. They have not gotten the push that they deserve, and they really do think that I really do believe they need to regroup. That's just me. But let's talk about the opener of the night. Honestly, I am kind of done with Jericho and Kevin Owens. It's been fun to see the whole best friend thing, but it's starting to become a little saccharine on my end. I'm just kind of tired of the whole sugary sweet best friend kind of thing. I'm waiting for the tension and the bitterness to kick in. Maybe that's just me, but the fact that you honestly saw Chris Jericho kind of being done, they kind of teased the whole breakup thing, and it seemed like it was pretty real this time. But then you saw Seth Rollins come out and attacking him out of nowhere. It is nice to see other locations on this show being utilized. I miss the outside brawls. I miss the backstage fights. I miss those, man. You don't see them that often, and we honestly saw them tonight. This is a whole new change. That's why I'm really liking this Raw. I have not seen a backstage brawl in a very long time. And a backstage brawl with Seth Rollins and Chris Jericho was refreshing for me. The same exact thing with Sheamus and Cesaro segment when they had the bar brawl. They went on location for the bar brawl. I love that. I miss that so much. They need to do it every once in a while. It would be nice to actually see a location or a bar brawl, maybe not every night, but every other night or a time when it's going to be special, maybe for a special pay-per-view. It's refreshing to see. I loved every bit of it. Now, before I actually get into the main event and also about the match with Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens leading on up to Roadblock, I'm going to talk about probably one of the best segments of the night before getting into the cruiserweights. The best segment of the night for me by far was Sami Zayn and his one-on-one talk with Mick Foley. Honestly, it was gold. It so much was gold. You could feel the frustration coming out of Sami Zayn. You could feel the protection like a dad coming from Mick Foley. Even though Sami Zayn has a point because Mick Foley was just as disastrous as Sami Zayn could ever be. And I just loved the back and forth with those guys. I really do. I enjoyed it. I really did. And it was funny how, and I'm going to go back to the beginning segment, how Kevin Owens kind of messed up on his words, but then but Chris Jericho was able to rescue him. I thought that was actually pretty cool. I really did enjoy that. Seriously. That shows you how professional these guys are. The same exact thing with Mick Foley. Mick Foley's dentures got loose in his mouth to where he literally ripped them out and tossed them out the ring. I thought that was kind of funny and cool at the same time. They're not going to let any hindrances mess up the entire segment. They're going to keep on going. With the highlight reel, you had Kevin Owens mess up his words, and Chris Jericho actually came out and saved him. And Kevin Owens kind of fed off that, even though Roman Reigns couldn't keep a straight face. The same thing with the segment with Sami Zayn, when Mick Foley just spit out his dentures and like threw him outside of the ring, and then Sami Zayn kept going with all that emotion. That's professionalism. And it didn't ruin the segment for me. I thought it was great. I really thought it was amazing. 2 great segments. But by far, I have to say, yes, Sami Zayn with Sami Zayn with Mick Foley definitely was one of the best segments of the night. I am actually going to be at SmackDown Live tomorrow in Colombia. Now, as much as I am excited about it, I really am excited about seeing SmackDown Live. I've never been to it since the brand split, and it's going to be amazing. But the fact is that after SmackDown ends, everybody's going to be on their way out. 205 Live is not going to have a lot of people in the audience. And that's a big problem. You're going to have people that's going to be on their way out. Not a lot of people are really into the cruiserweights. Having them last is going to be a mistake. They should have had them on at the beginning of the show like they do. Like, if you've ever gone to a live taping, you know that they're going to be shooting either Superstars or Main Event during the same time that they actually do have SmackDown or Raw. They usually do another show ahead of that. And then they actually do, the regular show. More than likely, they're going to shoot Main Event first, or Main Event or Superstars first, and then they're going to go into SmackDown. And then after SmackDown's over, then they're going to go 205 Live. But then I'm like, yo, people are not going to sit there for an extra hour to wait until it's done. There are people that are going to leave. People got to go to work in the morning. They're already tired after seeing their favorite matches. That's my biggest concern here. My biggest concern is that you're going to have a massive amount of people that's going to walk out because they're not going to have the energy. And most of them are going to be children. I have been to SmackDown events. There are more kids at SmackDown than Raw. When you have a 10-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 5-year-old, they're going to get tired. And more than likely, they're going to want to go home and go to sleep. That's their biggest mistake. I know they got kids. I know they know this. I know Vince has grandkids. You have to be aware of this. Most of the people that go to SmackDown are families. And most of the families have little kids. Maybe the age of 5, possibly the age of 3. But other than that, they can't last that long. That's my concern. They're going to be out before the event even starts. I'm just hoping that they're able to make this something, because the Cruiserweights deserve to have something. The Cruiserweight Classic by far is one of my most favorite events I have ever watched on the network. Paul Levesque did an amazing job with it. He did an amazing job finding the best cruiserweights he could find around the world. He put so much into it, probably millions of dollars for the entire setup. But it was absolutely phenomenal. And it was better being at a small venue. You had a small venue at Full Sail University, a small crowd that was able to appreciate it a lot more. Having it directly after SmackDown Live is a mistake. It should be a completely separate venue at a completely separate time. They should not have made it live. They should have made it taped. That's just my humble opinion. But the one thing I can definitely say is that the fact it's going to be on the network, it could be a chance they might allow them to start flying again, which is what I want. For the Cruiserweight Classic, these guys were straight up brutal. Like, I'm not going to lie. They were absolutely positively brutal. They were definitely, there was a lot of high flying, a lot of different styles from technical to high flying, to a mix between brawling and high flying. There were so many blends, so many styles that I just enjoyed it so much. But seeing how it's going to be on the network, it could be a chance that they might give them a little bit of leeway and might allow them to be a little bit more aggressive, which is what I want. So this might not be so bad. I'm just concerned on whether or not the crowd is going to hold out. That's my biggest concern right there, because I really do want this show to be a success. Because these guys deserve to have a storyline. They deserve to have a little bit more depth towards their character. They deserve to actually have matches that matter. Because on Raw, it doesn't matter. Rick Swan's match, as much as I hate that dude's gimmick, and I do hate it with every fiber of my being, I'm not a big fan of shucking and jiving. I'm not, still not. But other than that, his match with Noam Dar did not mean much to me because it just didn't feel like anything was on the line. Even though it was an amazing match, it just didn't feel like it meant anything until his promo. Now, I'm not going to lie, Rick Swan's promo towards Brian Kendrick felt something. It felt like it meant something. It felt like that this guy was gunning for that belt. It felt like that this is what he really wanted. And that is what I wanted to see. I didn't get much out of the match of Tony Nese's match. I cannot remember his opponent's name, and that's a shame. But other than that, for those that know his opponent's name, leave in the comments. I forgot his name. It just left me for a second. But other than that, Tony Nese's match, unfortunately, didn't mean anything for me at all, except a possible love interest. I don't know whether or not Alicia Fox is going after Tony Nese or his opponent. I don't know, but gosh, don't go the valet route. Don't go the valet route. Don't. Especially with Alicia Fox. Gosh, I'm tired of her ratchetness, and she's gonna become a ratchet once she gets dumped. She's gonna become a ratchet. So I'm hoping that ends too. But other than that, that match was more meaningless than the match with Rich Swann, because Rich felt like he really wanted it, and that's what I got from him during his promo when he actually spoke directly to, well, at least from a distance, to Brian Kendrick. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I really am. Now let's talk about some of the matches that actually did matter. The match that I consider that mattered the most definitely was not. Well, let's go into the matches that didn't matter. Rusev versus Enzo did not matter, but I'm gonna be real here. They have disrespected the marriage between Lana and Rusev more times than I have ever seen in my life. And yes, they're the most recognizable couple. A lot of people know they're married. A lot of people know that they've been married a while now. But I'm gonna be real here. They have disrespected them more ways than one. They haven't done that at all with any of the other married people there. But then you also got to understand all the other married couples on SmackDown. You got the Miz and Maurice on SmackDown. You got Naomi and Jey Uso, who are married, on SmackDown. And then you got Lana and Rusev, who is pretty much being completely humiliated night after night after night. That's total disrespect. I'm sorry. It really is. And I know that Enzo was trying to make jokes about the fact that, she saw his strudel. I guess, honestly, it really wasn't. You just saw, they pulled a Rick Rude, people. They pulled a Rick Rude, just how Rick Rude had that same feud with Jake the Snake Roberts, and to this day, the network blurs it out. He wore a nude thong. I saw it in the 80s, which means that it was completely uncensored back then. Shoot, they showed boobs during the day back then. There was no such thing as PC or censorship back then. So yes, it was a new freaking thong. They did the same exact thing with Enzo, but they're implying that she saw his strudel, and I'm like, look, can we at least give them a little bit of respect? I know that they're heels, but can we leave their marriage out of it? Just saying. Can you just feud with Rusev and not involve Lana? Lana is constantly being humiliated night after night after night, pretty much giving insinuations that she's just completely looking at people's packages. Maybe I'm going a little bit too far with this, but in my humble opinion, they are disrespecting them as a married couple night after night after night, and I wish it would stop. I really would. Because come on now, can you have a little bit more class in that and at least make it a feud about Rusev and not about his wife? Just saying. If we're changing times, we're becoming a little bit more serious, especially about the women's division, or about the overall company as a whole, and don't be a bully, be a star, and all that other garbage, can we at least apply it to the show? Just saying. It's not really entertaining. It's more insulting. It just is. I'm sorry, it really is. That's just me. But other than that, I didn't care much about that match, and of course, Enzo gets his butt handed to him again. But let's talk about the matches that actually do matter. Let's talk about Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. In my opinion, this is foreshadowing. By far. We all know that Roman Reigns is still the considered guy to take over John Cena. Even though John Cena is now on SmackDown, they're still trying to make him the top guy. So in my humble opinion, at Roadblock, when he goes up against Kevin Owens, it could be a possibility that Roman Reigns might win it down the line. Do I believe he's going to win it at Roadblock? No, because he still has a U.S. title. And let's talk about the U.S. title, shall we? That guy has disrespected that belt in more times than I can ever imagine. Sure, there are times where Roman Reigns actually does impress me. His mic skills has improved, as well as his in-ring performances has improved greatly. I still don't think he has a finisher to put anybody away, but the thing is, he can actually play out like he can. And I will admit this, he has impressed me. But I hate the way he carries the U.S. title around like it's some sort of a satchel. He has it facing behind him to where it's not facing on the camera, and it's not like he's carrying it with pride. Is this a way for him to protest that he wants to be a heel? That's just my overall theory. Maybe Roman Reigns is protesting that he wants to be a heel, and somehow they're still trying to keep him a face, and he's just trying to protest by disrespecting the title. I understand that you want to get a message out if that is the case, but don't disrespect the belt. The belt has a lot of history behind it, and it should be respected, regardless of how you feel and regardless of how they're treating you. That's just my opinion overall, if that is true. But I hate the way that he actually carries that belt like a freaking satchel and has it facing backwards to where it's not facing the camera. Can somebody please take that belt off of him? Please? And I'm going to tell you this. When Roman Reigns loses that title, he's going to take the title away from Kevin Owens or whoever has the title. I doubt it's going to be Jericho. I doubt it. But I could be wrong before. I was wrong about Sasha on Twitter. So who knows? I could be wrong this time. So who knows? It could be Chris Jericho could be the next champion. Who knows? I don't know. But other than that, I really do feel like it's some sort of foreshadowing. And the match actually was very good. But I do consider the whole Roman Reigns thing to be a little bit of foreshadowing. That's just me. And when Kevin Owens loses the title, he's going to be feuding again with Seth Rollins. And then you're going to have Roman Reigns. Honestly, it would make sense for Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho to feud. Chris Jericho take the belt from him. And then somehow that Roman Reigns is going to be feuding with Chris Jericho. And then here comes Seth Rollins again. I don't know. That's just how I see it in a very weird way. But let's talk about the main event of the night. Probably one of the most heart-touching endings. I can't even think of the words. I'm floored. Because I'm not going to lie. At first, okay, Sasha versus Charlotte. These two women really know how to bring the main event. They do. The first time it happened, when they actually did have a match, sure, pomp and circumstance, the ropes, everything, Dana Brooke on the other side. And then it was a count out. I think it was a great decision on Mick Foley's part to make it to reset it again, but not reset it at that point in time, but just reset it towards the main event towards the end. I think that was the best call. But then the second time when it happened, it was go time. They went straight to the ring, no flashiness. They just walked out and just started just going at it. I loved the aggressiveness of these two women in that match. I loved how Sasha Banks just went there. Like, that's the one thing that I was waiting for her to do. Because Sasha Banks looked like a freaking Barbie doll compared to Charlotte sometimes. When it came to Hell in a Cell, I knew that Sasha Banks can beat her. She has done it before. But the thing is that Sasha Banks has been kind of doled down like a freaking Barbie doll for months now. But we finally saw a lot of aggression coming out of her. I have seen her beat Bayley. I have seen her in amazing matches with Bayley. She was in an Iron Woman match with Bayley. This chick can go the distance. And she finally did. And that was the one thing that I honestly did enjoy about it. The fact that Sasha Banks went the distance. The fact that Sasha Banks literally did the bank statement while she was through a guardrail and pulled her back for her to tap out. That's the one thing that I enjoyed about the whole thing. The sheer aggressiveness of Sasha Banks. But I am going to be honest here. I don't like the 50-50 booking between these two. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that the belt's being passed back and forth. I don't like it because it predicts a lot. It predicts. You can predict the match. That's the worst part of it. When it comes to Roadblock, when it comes to the fact that Charlotte's going to have a rematch at Roadblock, we know that Charlotte is going to get the belt back because Charlotte has not lost the pay-per-view with Sasha. She hasn't. She has not lost the pay-per-view with Sasha Banks yet. Sasha Banks is a Raw girl. She's won every single Raw there is. She's won 3 Raws in a row for the title. But then you got Charlotte, who has beaten her in every pay-per-view there is. And that's not good. It's too predictable. I am hoping that they actually will allow Sasha Banks to hold the title for a few more months and not have Charlotte win. But I will say this. Charlotte by far had the most amazing reaction I have ever seen in my entire life when that chick was crying on the opposite side of the guardrail, opposite side of the barrier. And she was crying her eyes out after her dad came out, congratulated Sasha, gave her a hug, and left. Seeing the Nature Boy, by far, I was just like ready to pass out. Y'all know how much I love the Nature Boy. And seeing the Nature Boy come out and literally raise his hand and Sasha Banks gave her a hug after she dedicated the match to him, I thought it was beautiful. Especially it being in Charlotte, in Flair country. That was well done. Well done, well put together, beautiful moment. Beautiful moment for the people in North Carolina. Excuse me. Beautiful moment for the people in Charlotte. I thought it was great. I absolutely enjoyed every little bit of it. But honestly, man, that was a great ending. Amazing ending. I have no beef with that. I know that I am not enjoying the 50-50. I thought that Nia was going to come out, but she didn't. I guess they changed their mind at the last minute and had Sasha win. But I'm kind of sad because now Sasha's going to lose to Charlotte at Roadblock, and I really do want her to have the belt for maybe a month or so. For maybe longer than a month, about 3 or 4 months. I want her to have the belt until the next pay-per-view. I want her to be able to have a WrestleMania as a champion. That's what I want Sasha to have. I want Sasha to be the women's champion at WrestleMania and have her own match, literally main event WrestleMania. That's what I want for her. I want her to main event WrestleMania for the women. They literally set the tone at WrestleMania 32 with her, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte. I want her to be main eventing WrestleMania 33. I want that. I want that. But shoot, I mean, it could be wishful thinking on my end. But other than that, guys, it was an amazing match. You saw a lot of aggression coming out of these women. They have gave it their all. I tip my imaginary hat off to both of them. I really do. I enjoyed every bit of it. And I'm just going to go and just... But other than that, guys, what did you think about this? What did you think about this Raw? How did you feel about it? Because honestly, I think it was solid. I think it was amazing. They have surprised me at every turn. And I thought it was great. I got no beef about this Raw at all, except for a few things. But honestly, it was amazing. It didn't really take me out of it. They did a really great job. But guys, I want to hear your thoughts on this because I talk a little bit too much about this. But leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel about Raw in general, especially how you feel about the ending with Sasha versus Charlotte. I want to hear your overall thoughts. I am going to be at SmackDown. I probably will be tweeting live there. So check out my Twitter at NatureGirl30. I did change it. It's not no longer Arcades30. It actually is the NatureGirl30. So check me out there on Twitter. I will probably be live tweeting at the event. So definitely stay tuned to that. But other than that, guys, I am done here. NatureGirl30 signing off. Peace out. Later.